If you'd like to get involved with Shoreditch Radio, or if you run any local projects or events, please contact us at info@shoreditchradio.co.uk.
Esky boy, don't know. Out to all my people.
Hello, we're Beambar.
Hi, this is Dean from Lois and the Love.
This is Roman from Brighton.
I am Adam Farsick.
I'm Orlando from the Maccabees.
I am Colin Peters.
I'm Lewis from Chapel Club.
Hi, this is Guy from Zulu Winter.
Hello, this is Carl Barat.
Hey, this is Rita Ora, and you're listening to Shoreditch Radio. Yes!
And a very good evening on Sunday the 28th of September to another edition of the Davis and Watson Show here on Shoreditch Radio. You pilgrims out there, I'm sure will be delighted to know that Dave Watson is sitting right next to me.
Oh, he had to have a little dig, didn't he?
How are you, Dave?
Not so bad. It was my birthday weekend.
Yes, it was your birthday yesterday, wasn't it? Did you have a nice birthday?
Yeah, it was fine,
Do much?
Went to Pizza Express and had a few beers in the evening, and maybe another few tonight.
Oh, you're planning another few tonight, are you?
Yeah, well, they've got nothing to get up for in the mornings.
So I'm sure that situation will be changing sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Okay, in a moment, joining us on the phone will be Stephen Whitehurst. We'll introduce him shortly. Around about 25 minutes past 7, we'll be joined by former Premier League referee Mark Halsey to talk about the weekend's football. Around about 7:40, we're joined by a couple of graduates, Nally and Cheyenne will be joining us around about 7:40. We're talking university education, as, of course, the universities are scheduled to go back this coming week. But before we do that, joining us on the phone is Stephen Whitehurst. Dave, I think you should give Stephen the correct introduction.
Yeah, Stephen's an old friend of mine. We go back to a few years to when we used to teach English in Japan. But he's recently come to my attention because he made headlines by beating the world record for running a half marathon dressed as a bottle. Stephen, good evening.
Good evening, Dave. Happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you, mate. So, Stephen, tell us all about this. You broke the world record for running a half marathon dressed as a bottle. Whatever inspired you to do this?
We were looking around for a few sort of fun things to do in terms of PR for the brewery. I run a brewery called Brighton Bier, along with a couple of other friends down here in Brighton. And I'd done an awful lot of running, and I was doing the Brighton half marathon this year, back in February, and mentioned to my kids that it might be a bit of a laugh to do it dressed as a bottle of beer and set a world record. Just as a sort of offhand throwaway comment, really. But as soon as Oliver and Emily heard that, I had them on at me constantly saying, "Oh, Dad, yeah, you've got to do it." Got a bottle, had Brighton beer across the front of it, and sort of tried to run a half marathon in it.
And was it? Well, I will not say was it easy, because I know half marathons aren't easy at the best of times. But wearing a sort of bottle outfit, I guess it was really hard. Maybe the hardest half marathon you've ever done.
It's certainly probably the hottest half marathon I've ever done. Even though it was back in February, the suit is made completely out of foam. So I'm 6'4", and it goes from basically fills my entire height down to my knees, and the neck of the bottle is above the head. So there's no way to breathe whatsoever. So it was incredibly hot. I lost about 3 kilos in weight doing it.
Wow.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a great laugh. So I probably run harder races, but it wasn't the easiest thing to wear for a half marathon. But it was a good laugh, and very pleased with my time at the end of it, really. So it was good.
And you did it in 1 hour and 37 minutes, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's admirable. I can't even, my best half marathon time is 1:53 or something. And it's not that bad, but I can't imagine doing it in that sort of an outfit on. And I hear, at least maybe it's a vicious rumour that has no substance whatsoever, but I hear you're thinking of doing a marathon dressed as a bottle. Is that right as well?
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of where the idea first came from. I looked up the marathon world record, which was a little bit slower when I first looked at it, but a guy broke it this year at London. So it's down to 3 hours 31. which
is that doable for you?
I can do it quicker without a beer bottle.
Right.
But I'm not sure that I've got enough leeway between my personal best, just running normally, and then put on a beer bottle to beat that. But I think I'll have a go at it at some point.
Good luck to you.
Would you fancy doing, Stephen? Would you fancy doing the full marathon with dressed as the bottle?
Yeah, I would do. I mean, I think I'd do it for a bit of a giggle. I think it would have to be probably find one in the autumn or the winter.
Yeah.
Because I say it was just so hot that trying to do the same distance again with it would be a bit tricky, I think. But the thing is, it was such good fun on the day. The feedback from the crowds, from the other runners, was absolutely fantastic. So it was probably one of the most enjoyable races that I've ever done.
What sort of things did you get shouted at you, or comments? What sort of things did you hear?
I mean, constant shouts from the crowd in terms of, go on beer bottle man, and obviously somebody I think had probably left the glasses at home because someone shouted, go on the sausage. It was a brown beer bottle, but yeah. So
it did actually have Brighton Bier written on it as well, I imagine.
It did, yeah. Again, so quite a few people actually read that and were shouting, go on Brighton Bier.
Good.
So that was all,
somebody clearly needed to get down to Specsavers, didn't they?
Indeed.
Yeah.
And once you'd actually completed the run, how hard was it to get your name in the record books?
It was quite difficult, actually. I mean, there's a huge amount of evidence that you've got to supply. So I had to, as well as kind of running the race in the bottle, I had to run it with a video camera.
Wow.
And video the entire... I couldn't find anybody who was up for running with me and videoing it for me, so I had to run and video the entire race to prove that I had the bottle on at the start and through the entirety of the race, then the finish. Had to get a couple of witness statements from runners who could say that I was in sight for the entire race, and that they saw me never take it off. The race referee had to write a report, had to get photos. I had to prove it was a proper half marathon, properly measured to international race standards, and it was the timing company were a proper timing outfit with chip timing. So there was a huge amount of evidence that I had to sort of supply. And then took a few months to then hear back whether we'd been successful or not. But
I guess the Guinness Book of Records will be on your Christmas card list this year, yeah?
Sorry?
The Guinness Book of Records will be on your Christmas card list.
Everybody's getting the Guinness Book of Records.
You're going to give it out as presents, are you? Good.
The entire family are already saying, are you in it or not? I'm saying, I'm not sure. And I think, well, I hope you're not. I don't really want one.
I will have a look. I guarantee that. So, sort of moving, not off a subject, but on the subject of you sponsoring your own beer company, Brighton Bier.
Right, yeah.
Just confirm to us, just give us the website for a start. You can give a free plug, go on.
Sorry?
Give your brewery a plug. What's the website for the plug?
Basically, the website is www.brightonbier.com. Beer is spelled B-I-E-R.
Right. And that's because it's sort of spelt a bit like the way the Belgians spell it.
That's right. I mean, Gary, who's our brewer, American and Belgian beer is kind of one of his great inspirations and what got him into brewing in the first place. And so, opting to spell it B-I-E-R was partly in homage to sort of Belgian spelling of beer. A lot of people think it's a play on Brighton Pier.
Oh, right. Right.
It kind of obviously fits on that level as well, but it was very much the sort of beer influence spelling.
And how did you find yourself getting into the brewing industry? Because last time I spoke to you, I think you were doing recruitment or something.
Yeah, one of the other dads at school has worked in the drinks industry for many years, and he was talking about setting up his own distribution business in terms of wholesaling beer from various microbreweries around the country. And we'd always gone well, always had a chat, and he said, do you fancy sort of joining forces and doing it together? Partially on the basis, as he put it, that all the things that I don't really like doing. I'm not very good at it. It kind of strikes me that you do like doing it, which, as my son put it when I explained to Oliver exactly what I did in the brewery, just referred to it as, all the boring stuff then. So I kind of take all the marketing, sales, finance, IT, all the kind of back office stuff. And let the guys who really know about making beer crack on and make it. So it's.
But it is it's a brand new beer in itself, is it? That you and your mates sort of brewed up. Yeah,
we brew a range of sort of 4 or 5 core beers, but then we have a constant range of new beers that we bring out, special editions, one-off brews as well. So always looking to sort of create an interesting lineup of beers, and certainly the customers that buy from it seem to appreciate it and seem to really like the range that we provide. So touch wood at the moment, it's all going very well.
And your brewery is at the same site as it is as the bar is that right?
No, we've got. We're just moving to new premises actually in a couple of weeks' time, which is on the sort of the edge of Brighton, still within central Brighton, but pretty much on the edge of the city centre. So we're moving in there in a couple of weeks' time, putting a completely new brew house in. But then we've got a pub in the centre of town as well,
right.
Which we opened back in April, so nearly 6 months ago now.
Right.
But we opened that in conjunction with a London brewery called Late Nights,
okay,
who are based down in Penge.
Right.
We've got 3 bars in London, and we're keen to also open one up in Brighton. So yeah, we did that with them, and again, that's going from strength to strength. Really, it's been very, very popular.
That's great to hear. Well, I remember from you, Steve, that your 2 great passions are beer and football.
Yes.
So let's talk a wee bit about your favourite team. As everybody who's listening will know, you're not really from Brighton. You're from up north.
No, yeah, from Manchester originally.
Yeah, and a die-hard Manchester United fan.
Indeed.
So what's your take on the current situation?
I think it's one of those things that running up to the sort of final few years of Fergie's reign, it was always that debate about who would take over from him, how difficult it would be, and I think everybody knew that it was going to be a very, very difficult task to take over from him. I think that no one appreciated perhaps just how hard it was going to be, in terms of probably the power and the influence he had over the club, an ageing squad, and the need to sort of bring in sort of fresh talent and sort of young blood. And I think it's been a surprise just how difficult a sort of task it's been actually over the last sort of season and
seeing the problems that they're having at the moment. Do you think this maybe indicates that Moyes was rather unfairly treated? Maybe he should have been given a bit more money to replenish the squad and maybe more time to do it?
It's a tricky one, and I think last season to start with, I think it was easy to, everyone jumped on his back from the very beginning of the season, and I think at the initial stage of it, it was difficult to see whether it was his fault, whether it was underinvestment really in the side, probably in certain key areas like the midfield, in the last few years of Fergie being around, and whether the senior players really wanted to play for him. But I think the difficult thing is that the season wore on. There just didn't seem to be any ideas behind the teams he was putting out, the way they were playing, and I think it was that sense of losing. Whilst people were perhaps on the fence about whether he was the right man for the job, I think it very quickly became evident that he didn't seem to have it seems rude to say, but didn't seem to really know how to sort of take the club forward. It seemed out of his depth.
I've heard people say that the job was too big for him. Would you go along with that?
I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an incredibly difficult job to take on, but I think what they were hoping for is to bring him in with the intention of him being there for a long time and creating a dynasty. But I think it became evident quite quickly in the season that it wasn't going to work. And unfortunately, it was one of those things of, a few months of being up and down and then slowly bedding in and then finishing the season thinking, well, okay, he's found his feet, it looks good, it looks promising for next year. I don't think there was really any of that confidence. So,
and do you think Do you think Van Gaal's the right man for the job now?
Obviously, over the summer, it was obviously a really exciting signing. Holland played very well in the World Cup. He's got a very, very good pedigree. I think it's very difficult to think who would be the right man to take it forward. But I think he's got the background in terms of big clubs. But what impresses me and what's impressed me over what has been some fairly up and down opening weeks of the season, that he's got confidence in his plan. He seems to know what he wants to do. Now, whether that's going to work or not is a different thing. But at least he seems to have confidence, and he's saying, "This is going to work. Believe in me." And I think with Moyes, there wasn't that sense of belief that he knew what he was doing. At least going forward, they're playing some nice football. I do. I do think he will get it sorted. I do think that this season will still be a bit topsy-turvy. Results like last week against Leicester, and obviously they made hard work of it yesterday once they're down to 10 men, but I think he will actually get it sorted at United. I think he's big enough that it'll be alright.
Do you think Rooney was a red card yesterday, Steve?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, how they could be arguing. I mean, he just kicked him, didn't he?
Yeah.
The guys went away, but also, I mean, he's 70, 80 yards from goal. They've only got 2 West Ham players ahead of the ball. There's 4 United defenders. There's no pressure whatsoever. So to just kick out at him was just ludicrous, really. I don't have any complaints.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to work out who to buy to replace in my fantasy football team. I think the whole of October for the professional foul. So.
Indeed, yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Just a quick moment of self-indulgence, then, Steve. What's your favourite memory as a Man United fan?
Gosh,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It's obviously sort of easy to talk about, trophies and this, that, and the other. But I mean, when I was growing up in Manchester, me and my dad used to go pretty much every week to watch them. And obviously now we live down in Brighton. I've got a family. It's difficult to get back home. But I really, really enjoy going back to Manchester and going to United with my dad and with my son. And it's probably that sort of 3 generations was all going together to watch the game, having a chat about it.
Right.
Hopefully coming away with 3 points. Those are things I actually really, really enjoy now. Those are things, the sort of memories that I suppose are easier to grasp onto.
Right. That's a good answer. Well, that's brilliant, Steve. Thanks. Well, not at all. Thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences with us and your expert opinion on Boys in Red. I wish you all the best for your brewery.
Thank you very much.
Not necessarily all the best for Manchester United, but it's good.
No, it's good. If you ever see Brighton, I mean, we sell a lot of Brighton beer into London, so if you see it on the bar in a pub, then
well, we will definitely
give it a try.
We will definitely look out for it, Stephen. Definitely.
I'm already looking out for it, mate.
Stephen, thanks very much for joining us on the show.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Stephen.
All the best to family too.
Cheers.
And that was Stephen Whitehurst. And we will put out his website address again. We will put it out again a little bit later on in the programme. Okay, you're listening to Shoreditch Radio, Davis and Watson Show. Coming up very shortly will be former Premier League referee Mark Halsey.
You're listening to Shoreditch Radio. ShoreditchRadio.co.uk.